Hi, I'm Coach Landry, and the topic is 5 common reasons we procrastinate. So first, let's define the definition of procrastination so that it makes sense. Procrastination refers to a voluntary postponement of an unpleasant task, and it's often against one's better judgment. So when a person procrastinates, they pass the buck to their future self. So think about it like that. From now on, when you procrastinate, you're just passing the buck to your future self. Although some procrastinators claim that they work best under pressure, perhaps they also need the rush of a last-minute deadline to get started. But the cost of procrastinations are often considerable. Evidence suggests that the habit of leaving things until the last minute generally results in low-quality work performance and reduced well-being. For example, students who routinely procrastinate consistently get lower grades, study shows. So it goes to show right there that even when you're trying to get information that's vital to your own success, you're still producing lower results. So it doesn't matter what the subject is, because even when it's important, it's still waning a little bit there. So procrastinators also tend to postpone getting appropriate medical treatments, diagnostic tests, so on and so on. So why, when so little good comes from procrastinating, do we do it so much? Here are 5 reasons why we procrastinate. And I want you to listen to these 5 reasons so that you know how to come up with your own alternatives to them, so that you don't do them yourself. Number 1, absence of structure. The lack of imposed direction that becomes common in the workplace might contribute to an increase in procrastination. The collapse of delay between impulse and decision inevitably favors impulse, always. Facebook instead of doing work. Good example. So our easy online access makes urges easy to gratify. One solution to this is to design your environment in a way that makes your desired goal more likely to happen. For example, if you tend to check your email or Facebook too often, make it difficult for yourself to connect to the internet. Make it to where your phone isn't right in front of you, or your computer is in a separate room. So anytime you want to do something, you've got to go there to look at it. Now, I know in this world of what I call laser lane society, where everybody has quick access to everything, it becomes one of those things where you constantly want to be looking at stuff. In one of my past videos, I talk about, get away from your phone. Phones are becoming extremely, to me, a health problem amongst us. And we were all guilty of it at some point, where it's so neat to be able to have quick access to everything. It's so gratifying. But then you start to say it's also becoming unhealthy. And you're also breaking down human connections that you have with people because you're looking at your phone every so often. Okay. So even though these are the 5, reasons we procrastinate, I'm going to give you, ways to kind of get around each one at the end of it. But also try to come up with your own. So number 2 would be unpleasant tasks. Okay. So we all know what these are, right? Most significant predictor of procrastination is a task that's considered unpleasant, boring, uninteresting, laundry, exercise, So how can you complete your unpleasant task on time? One strategy is to divide and conquer. Shift your focus from ultimate goal to a series of easy to complete, intermediate tasks, right? So another strategy is to form, and if the plan is automate the goal striving, if you turn on the computer, I will first work on my assignment for 45 minutes and then do the following. So start breaking it down in segments so you don't feel as overwhelmed by the idea of it. So if you're going to write a paper, turn it into, I'm going to do the first paragraph for 30 minutes and then tomorrow I'll do the next 30 minutes. Instead of saying, I got to sit down and do it all at one time and try to get it over with. So try to break it up. Number 3 would be timing. Another important factor is the timing of the reward and punishment, meaning that the point of choice and the associated consequence are separated in time. So a gap like this produces internal conflict between future and present interests. So procrastination occurs when present efforts are highly noticeable in comparison with future ones, leading individuals to postpone tasks without anticipating what comes to them and what time it does. So let's say a smoker who wants to quit can spend many years having one last cigarette. The solution is to find a way to make long-term goals feel like short-term rewards. For example, the painful moment of getting into a cold swimming pool can overpower the delayed benefits of doing morning laps. So to overcome that resistance, you need to associate the activity with something positive to your mood and exercise. So in other words, try to find something positive about something negative and then, try to work it in. Number 4, Anxiety. Avoidance is a well-known form of coping with anxiety. I would say half the nation suffers from some form of anxiety. Anxiety, there's a natural anxiety, and then there's, obviously a exponential anxiety. Everybody gets nervous before a speech. Everybody gets nervous when they got to get some news that they're unsure of what the news is going to be one way or the other. There's natural anxieties, and then there are people who literally slip into being overwhelmed. So procrastinators may postpone getting started because of their fear of failure. Evidence indicates that procrastination is associated with high levels of stress. To relieve stress, procrastinators shift their focus away from the future toward more immediate rewards. So again, you're hearing me repeat the same thing here. Throughout all these things I'm trying to break down to you is find miniature rewards. Break stuff down into smaller pieces so that the overwhelming feeling that causes procrastination in the first place goes away. Because finding ways to reduce stress can strengthen an individual, okay? Especially your capacity to reduce procrastination. It just takes a little bit of time. You got to work on it. Procrastination is something that we all do at one point in our life. We all dread something, right? Number 5, I broke it down to self-confidence. Because when difficulties arise, I think people with weak self-confidence easily develop doubts about their ability to accomplish the task at hand. And not just because they're nervous about it or they think they can't do it. It's just because they know it has no value to them because their confidence is low. It's not going to help with anything they're going through. So they just say, I don't want to do that until I have to. While those with strong beliefs are more likely to continue their efforts. When low self-confidence causes people to avoid activities, they miss opportunities to acquire new knowledge and skills. And as a human, as a male, as a female, whatever you want to be for the day or whatever you want to define yourself, it never hurts to have new knowledge and skills, ever. So, for example, a college student with a low sense of confidence for math may avoid enrollment in upper-level math courses, right? The decision not to enroll deprives a student of valuable skills and development and experiences, right? Because they're avoiding things that may break the mold and get them better at something, yet they're fearful of it because of failures in the past. That's a sign of self-confidence. So, in contrast, goal attainment may raise feelings of self-confidence, which can result in a person setting even more challenging goals. So the idea here in all this is to condition yourself. Condition yourself, okay? So just to recap, I'm going to give the 5 reasons that I believe we procrastinate. Number 1, absence of structure. Number 2, unpleasant tasks. Number 3, timing. Number 4, anxiety. And number 5, self-confidence. So what does all this tell you? None of these are things that you can't overcome. They're all easily beatable, actually. And like with most people, the only thing standing in your way is you. So do something about it. Don't sit around and let it win. Because you can win every battle you want to. Remember, mind over body. Your body eventually gets old, it ages, things happen to it, doesn't look as good, not as desirable. But the mind can stay sharp, and they show that the memory can stay sharp, that things can stay sharp on average up to 89 to 95 years old. So that means your mind is really in control, right? So think about those things. So if you'd like to book a personal session, contact me via the email below. And if you found this information helpful, show your appreciation by clicking on the PayPal donation link below, and I will talk to you soon.